It looks like something that escaped from a children's nightmare. Pointed ears, wide eyes, a mischievous smile lined with 9 tiny teeth. Its name is Labubu, and somehow this strange little monster became one of the most desired objects on the planet. Collectors waited in lines that wrapped around shopping malls. Online releases disappeared within minutes. Celebrities clipped Labubus to luxury handbags. Resellers turned inexpensive toys into trophies worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. Then, in June 2025, a one-of-a-kind, human-sized Labubu sold at auction in Beijing for 1.08 million yuan, more than 150,000 US dollars. But the strangest part is not the price. It is how quickly millions of people agreed that this odd-looking creature mattered. Labubu did not become a global obsession because it was simply cute. It succeeded because it sat at the exact intersection of art, identity, celebrity, scarcity, and psychological reward. So, what was the hidden signal behind all that noise? How did a character from an illustrated story become a multi-billion yuan cultural machine? And when the excitement fades, will Labubu remain an icon, or become another forgotten relic of the internet? This is Agnetic, the signal behind the noise. The Labubu story did not begin in a marketing department. It began with an artist. Kasing was born in Hong Kong and built his career as an illustrator and picture book creator in Europe. Inspired by Nordic folklore and fairy tales, he imagined a world populated by mysterious elves and monsters. In 2015, that world appeared in a picture book series called The Monsters. Labubu was one of its inhabitants, playful, curious, and well-intentioned, but often responsible for chaos. The character was not designed as a polished princess or a perfectly rounded mascot. Labubu looked wild, imperfect, and slightly dangerous. That imperfection became its greatest advantage. At a time when popular characters were often smooth, sweet, and predictable, Labubu was difficult to classify. Was it adorable, creepy, funny, rebellious? The answer could be all four. Kasing worked with Hong Kong designer toy company How to Work to turn characters from his illustrated universe into physical collectibles. But Labubu was still largely known within art toy circles. Then, in 2019, Kasing partnered with Pop Mart. That partnership connected an unusual character to a company that understood something extremely valuable. Adults were not finished buying toys. They simply wanted toys that felt like art, fashion, and identity. Labubu already had a soul. Pop Mart gave it a machine. Pop Mart was founded in Beijing in 2010. It started as a retailer of fashionable lifestyle products, but its breakthrough came when it focused on collectible character intellectual property, or IP. Instead of depending on films or television programs to make characters famous first, Pop Mart could introduce an artist's creation directly through physical products. The toy was not merchandise supporting a story. The toy was the story. Pop Mart built an ecosystem around that idea. Artist partnerships, carefully themed collections, attractive stores, vending-style robo-shops, mobile shopping, and rapid product releases. Then came the format that made the system repeatable, the blind box. Customers could see the possible designs in a series, but not the exact figure inside their sealed box. Some collections also included a rare secret design. That changed the purchase from a normal transaction into an event. But Labubu's decisive transformation came when Pop Mart made it wearable. In 2023, vinyl-faced plush pendants turned the character into something collectors could attach to handbags, backpacks, and belts. Labubu no longer had to sit privately on a shelf. It could travel through cities, appear in photographs, and advertise itself everywhere its owner went. Each bag became a tiny billboard. Each unboxing became potential content. Each new color created another reason to buy, and each sold-out release made the next one feel even more urgent. Pop Mart had transformed a storybook monster into a product perfectly designed for the social media era. To understand the obsession, forget the toy for a moment, focus on the sealed box. When someone buys an ordinary product, the emotional journey is simple. Choose, pay, and receive. A blind box inserts uncertainty between paying and receiving. That uncertainty creates anticipation. For a few seconds, the buyer is no longer opening packaging. They are waiting for an answer. Did they get their favorite color? A duplicate? Or the secret figure everyone wants? Peer-reviewed research into blind box consumption has found that uncertainty can increase a product's emotional and social value, even while reducing its practical value. In other words, not knowing what you will receive can make the experience feel more exciting and more shareable. This creates a powerful loop. First comes anticipation, then revelation, then either satisfaction or an immediate reason to try again. If the buyer receives a common design, the collection remains incomplete. If they receive a rare one, the success becomes a story worth posting. Either outcome can keep the cycle moving. Social media magnifies every step. Unboxing videos let viewers borrow the suspense without spending money. But they also show the reward, the collection, and the celebration. Watching repeatedly can turn curiosity into desire. Then comes completion pressure. One Labubu may look like a purchase. 5 begin to look like a collection. Once a buyer has invested money, time, and emotion into a set, stopping can feel like leaving a story unfinished. This does not mean every collector is irrational. Many genuinely value the artwork, trade duplicates with friends, and enjoy the community. But the system is exceptionally good at turning one purchase into the possibility of another. The box sells a toy. The uncertainty sells the next box. Psychology alone cannot explain why Labubu won, while thousands of other blind box characters remained obscure. The design mattered. Labubu belongs to an aesthetic often described as ugly cute, strange enough to demand attention, but friendly enough to inspire affection. Its pointed ears create an instantly recognizable silhouette. Its fluffy body feels comforting. Its grin adds danger and mischief. It is cute, but not obediently cute. That contradiction makes Labubu visually sticky. Perfect mascots are easy to understand and easy to forget. Labubu creates a tiny question in the viewer's mind. Why do I like this? The character also gives owners space to project their own identity onto it. Fans dress their Labubus in miniature clothes, match them to outfits, photograph them on holidays, and display them on luxury bags. The toy becomes a character, an accessory, and a small self-portrait at the same time. For adults, it offers something else: permission to play. Modern life is optimized for productivity, performance, and constant bad news. A small monster serves no practical purpose, and that may be precisely the point. It offers color, ritual, nostalgia, and uncomplicated delight. Labubu is childish without belonging only to children, artistic without requiring a gallery, exclusive without always costing luxury brand prices at retail. It occupies a rare position: accessible enough to begin collecting, expressive enough to personalize, and distinctive enough to be recognized across a room. But recognition alone does not create global obsession. For that, Labubu needed an amplifier. Labubu was already popular among collectors in parts of Asia. Then celebrity visibility pushed it into a different category. Blackpink's Lisa became one of the most important accelerators. Her public enthusiasm helped ignite demand in Thailand and introduced the character to a vast international fan base. Soon, Labubu appeared with global names including Rihanna, Dua Lipa, and David Beckham. What mattered was not simply fame. It was context. Labubu was appearing beside designer handbags, international travel, and celebrity lifestyles. A peculiar toy was being reframed as a fashion object and status signal. Traditional advertising tells consumers that a product is desirable. Celebrity adoption appears to show that desirability has already been discovered. That difference is powerful. When millions of fans see someone they admire carrying an unfamiliar object, they begin searching. Searches create videos. Videos generate explanations, reactions, and unboxings. More content creates more visibility, which attracts more buyers, which creates even more content. The trend begins feeding itself. And unlike a handbag costing thousands of dollars, an entry-level blind box lets ordinary fans participate in the same visual language for a fraction of the price, at least when they can find one at retail. This made Labubu a bridge between luxury aspiration and affordable collecting. It was no longer only a character fans liked, it became evidence that they were part of the moment. And once belonging to the moment became valuable, scarcity made that belonging even more desirable. Scarcity changes the question a consumer asks. Instead of, "Do I want this?" the question becomes, "Can I get it before someone else does?" Popular Labubu releases repeatedly sold out. Limited supply, new series, and rare secret figures created urgency. That urgency drew in resellers, who recognized a gap between the official retail price and what impatient collectors were willing to pay. The resale market then performed two contradictory functions. It frustrated genuine fans, but it also advertised Labubu's importance. High asking prices acted like public scoreboards. A figure selling above retail suggested demand. A rare piece selling for hundreds or thousands suggested prestige. And the extraordinary auction of a human-sized Labubu for more than $150,000 pushed the character closer to the world of art collecting. But scarcity has a shadow. Counterfeit Labubus, nicknamed Lafufus, flooded online marketplaces. Some buyers knowingly purchased cheaper imitations. Others struggled to distinguish real products from fakes. In August 2025, the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission issued an urgent warning that counterfeit Labubu plush dolls could break apart and create a serious choking hazard for young children. By then, the counterfeits had become their own signal. Products are copied when demand exceeds what official channels can easily satisfy. The fake market was not separate from the craze. It was evidence of how far the craze had spread. This is the paradox at the heart of scarcity marketing. If an object is too available, it can lose its magic. If it is too difficult to obtain, customers become angry, counterfeiters move in, and speculators can overpower the community. Pop Mart had to keep Labubu visible without making it feel ordinary. That balance would determine whether the character became a lasting icon or a bubble waiting to burst. The financial results reveal the scale of the phenomenon. In 2024, Pop Mart generated 13.04 billion yuan in total revenue, roughly $1.8 billion at the time. Revenue from the monsters, the wider character family led by Labubu, reached about 3.04 billion yuan, after increasing more than 700% in a single year. Then the machine accelerated. In 2025, Pop Mart's total revenue rose to 37.12 billion yuan, about $5.4 billion. The monsters generated 14.16 billion yuan, representing approximately 38% of the entire company's revenue, and an increase of more than 365% from the year before. This was no longer a small collectible trend. It was one character universe producing revenue on the scale of a major global brand. Labubu also represented something culturally significant, a character with Hong Kong artistic roots, industrialized and distributed by a mainland Chinese company, then adopted voluntarily by consumers around the world. For decades, the most recognizable global character franchises largely flowed outward from the United States and Japan. Labubu suggested that a Chinese company could build and export a character obsession without first relying on a Hollywood film, a television series, or a blockbuster video game. The product created the audience created the media, and the media expanded the mythology. But Pop Mart's extraordinary 2025 performance also revealed a risk. The monsters had become responsible for nearly 2/5 of company revenue. The more powerful Labubu became, the more investors had to ask whether that demand could last. Every obsession eventually faces the same test. What remains when novelty disappears? Labubu became a global obsession because several forces arrived at exactly the right moment. Kasing created a character distinctive enough to survive outside its original story. Pop Mart turned that character into a repeatable collecting system. Blind boxes transformed buying into suspense. Plush pendants transformed ownership into public display. Celebrities provided social proof. Scarcity created urgency. And social media converted every opening, outfit, and sold-out release into free distribution. But underneath the strategy was something more human. Labubu gave adults a small form of escape, an object that could be art, fashion, nostalgia, community, and play all at once. That is why dismissing it as just a toy misses the real story. People rarely obsess over objects only because of what those objects are. They obsess over what owning them communicates. I discovered this, I earned this, I belong here, I was part of this moment. Whether Labubu becomes the next Hello Kitty or the next forgotten collectible is still an open question. Sales can rise quickly, resale prices can collapse, algorithms can move on. But even if the craze fades, Labubu has already revealed a powerful truth about modern culture. In the attention economy, the most successful products do not merely satisfy demand. They turn demand into a performance everyone else can see. The monster was the product. The mystery was the mechanism. And our attention was the real prize. This is Agnetic, the signal behind the noise. If you want more documentaries decoding why the world suddenly becomes obsessed, subscribe and follow the signal.